Great to be back with Congressman Jim Jordan. How are you, sir?
It's good to be with you.
So this is one of those times of the year where, frankly, a lot doesn't happen on Capitol Hill. It's kind of known as sort of Christmas season. Everything's just kind of grinding to a halt. Do you feel that's a fair characterization of what's going on?
We're trying to get a bill done this week that we think will help the situation in college sports. We're trying to do some things in the healthcare area that will actually bring down premiums versus what the Democrats want to do, which is just another subsidy. This expansion of the Obamacare subsidies to insurance companies makes no sense to me. Subsidies never bring down costs. In fact, they typically drive up costs. Choice and competition bring down costs, and that's what we want a bill in the healthcare area that health savings accounts, association health plans, ability to purchase insurance across state lines, all those things that create more choice, more competition, and bring down costs. That's what we want versus more subsidies into a system that just has all kinds of fraud.
Congressman, wasn't Obamacare always designed to be about this day where people became dependent?
Great point.
They became dependent on this thing that was affordable to them, but really isn't affordable to the system.
No, right. And I feel like it was always to get to a single payer, which we're opposed to, but it was always to get to this, as you said, to this point.
Where it appears like you're taking something away when in fact that's not true, actually.
And I think the frustration level of, because so much government involvement in healthcare that doesn't allow choice and competition, you drive up the cost, where so many American families are just ready to throw their hands up. Yes. It's like, I can't take it anymore, and so the frustration level, I think, is almost by design as well, it seems. Because remember what they told us: you like your plan, you can keep your plan. You like your doctor, you can keep your doctor, and premiums will go down.
Yeah.
Well, those are three lies, because 15 years later, none of that's worked.
And the cost of everything has gone up.
Yeah,
nothing in medicine's gotten cheaper.
And they want to just keep throwing more taxpayer money at it. No, that's not. And a system where we know there's a ton of fraud. Yes. So I think our approach in choice and competition is much better.
Do you hear this argument about affordability? I mean, whether it's real or whether it's perceived, that is the word of the day. And I continue to hear people say, particularly online, whether it's real or perceived, young people are starting to gravitate toward the AOC Mandami attitude of socialism because they feel like the system's broken and what the heck, let's give it a try. Are you hearing that? And what do you say to push back?
A little. And I do think there's some frustration. You're a young family. You're looking to purchase that first home, because Joe Biden and the Democrats spent so much and had this record levels of inflation over the last 4 years, even though President Trump and Republicans have brought that down significantly. Look at the gas prices today, as an example. Even though we brought that down significantly, things still cost a lot. And you want to buy that new home, even in, we're not talking about the East Coast or the West Coast, but even in the Midwest, where I'm from, it's expensive. Yes. It's like $400,000, $300,000, $450,000 in certain communities to buy a nice family home. Yes. So I do think it is a concern.
Can Republicans harness that argument and fix it? I mean, can you tell a young person in the next, we're talking about, the midterms, so not long. Can we make the case to young people, hey, easy, socialism's not the way to go. We can make houses cheaper.
I think so, in a couple of ways. One is, I do think that the big, beautiful bill will begin to kick in those tax cuts and good things we've done on regulation, on taxes. Tax policy will kick in and it'll help our economy. So I do think that's coming. We've already seen inflation is coming down dramatically, but it was so darn high, it's still troublesome for lots of families. And then I think you also remember, campaigns, both sides get to talk. Right now, the way the mainstream press works in Democrats, it seems like all you ever hear is what they're saying. Thank goodness for folks like you who are giving the truth. But I think we also talk about how crazy they are. I always say, not all Democrats are crazy, but the left that controls their party is. And you can go, it's crazy to not have a border, which is what we had under Joe Biden. It's crazy to defund the police, which is what we had under Joe Biden. It is crazy to say men should compete against women in sports, which is what we had under Joe Biden. President Trump and Republicans have changed all that. And you could just keep going on all the it's crazy to say that, you don't want more law enforcement presence in the capital city. It's brought down crime. Now, we had this tragedy last week with these two National Guard folks from the great state of West Virginia. But The left was against bringing National Guard to the capital city, which you're definitely allowed to do under our Constitution. So every position they take, I mean, my favorite is, it's crazy to let a Chinese spy balloon fly clear across the country and then shoot it down.
For 8 days. It's nuts.
I think you and I would have probably shot it down before it went across.
Yes.
I know Trump would have, right? But that's the left. So I think you can also point out that in a campaign, and then talk about what we've done to change the cost of things with Republicans in charge.
This report that Miranda Devine and the New York Post have released on Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and dysfunction in the FBI, I am very mindful that the FBI is riddled with people that hate Donald Trump and this administration. They're institutionalists. That's clear.
Yeah.
But is there any legitimacy to the idea that there is discord in the FBI and that Kash and Dan and maybe Pam Bondi over at DOJ aren't doing their job?
We've had nothing. I mean, our committee works, a lot with the Justice Department. We've had nothing but, a great relationship, working relationship with Attorney General Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Blanche, Director Patel, Assistant Director Bongino. Nothing but positive. We've asked for the first day Kash got the job. First day he's sworn in, we sent him 7 subpoenas, and we got response. That was night and day compared to what we had with Wray and Garland in the previous administration. So I appreciate the work they're doing. We've had a great relationship with them.
Is it institutionalists that are just unhappy with
Well,
them?
I'm sure there's still some of that. I mean, I'm sure there's still some of that. I mean, look at what we found out in the last few weeks. The Arctic Frost investigation, the Jack Smith special counsel were surveilling members of Congress. And we just found out a week and a half ago that they went and got my phone records for a 2.5-year time period. They know who you're calling, who's calling you, when you called them, how long the call lasted, and if you initiated the call, where you were at when you did so. That is crazy. For every call I make in 2.5 years, so that you can pattern a person's life. Every morning I text my wife when she's not here in town, I text her, and then at night I call her, and then I call my brother, or I call my colleague. Like, that's frightening that the government's getting that information because somehow they conjure up this crazy idea that there was a conspiracy that President Trump was leading to. Like, what are you talking about? So do I think there's still some of that element around? Of course. Look what they did.
But you would tell voters this reporting that there's discord in the FBI or that Kash and Dan are over their heads. Not true in your view?
No, I appreciate the work they've done, and like I said, we've had a really good working relationship with those guys. They're the ones helping us get this information. They're the ones helping Chairman Grassley get the information. I mean, but for them giving us information, we would not have been able to go to Verizon and figure out what they did with our phone records, with others' phone records, and a host of other things. So, no, I think they're good folks.
I know you're busy, Congressman. I'll let you run, but I really appreciate your time today,
You bet.
sir. I hope you'll come back and see us soon.
We will.
Thank you.
Take care.